Hey, fairy grasshoppers, it's Bridgette. Nice to see you. I am having the hardest time making a decision. I have to make a decision, and I'm just agonizing over it. And it's something that's supposed to be fun and delightful and positive, hopeful, but because there's so much uncertainty in the world right now, let's be honest, there's always uncertainty in the world right now. We can't know for sure anything specifically because of, the environment and politics and health and, natural disasters. There's so many things, and not just negative things, but positive things too, like that could impact our plans that we make. And so I'm going to use my card deck, and I'm going to show you, I'm going to give you an opportunity to have some insight on a decision that you're trying to make, something that is important to you that maybe you've been contemplating for a while but haven't taken action on, or something that you just maybe want a little more clarity on. So I want you to think about that, and we're going to use this deck, of course, our good old standby deck, our practical deck, our mystic and practical deck, the Denise Linn Sacred Traveler Oracle deck. We might use one of her other decks to kind of supplement this today, but we'll have to see how it goes. But this is my go-to. So think about something that you are trying to make a decision about, and let's get some clarity on the intention or goal. Because sometimes the reason why we're stuck or we're confused about between kind of different things, or we feel pulled in different directions in our decision making, is because maybe we're not really clear about our intention or our goal. What can we know about the underlying motivation and inspiration, because those are two different things, motivation and inspiration, for this decision or choice, this idea, this thing that you're contemplating. It can be as simple as getting a new car. It can be something like choosing between a couple of books to read. It can be very simple like that. It can be choosing to go to college. It can be choosing to start a new health and wellness program for yourself, and you're not sure which direction to go as far as starting to exercise or healthy eating plan, which one's right for you. It can be anything, okay? This doesn't have to be an intense thing. Literally, it can just be picking a book. But it can be something more intensive too, like talking to somebody about an issue in a relationship or those kinds of things, okay? So think about your thing. I know you have a lot. If you're like me, you got a lot of things. But I have one that kept me up all night. And like I said, it was supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be something inspiring. And I'm like, oh. So insight on the goal, right away I can feel my higher self telling me already some information. I should be writing this down. Actually, I'm getting some intel on myself for myself right now. I should be writing this down. Part of the challenge is using old excuses or old patterns, and needing the old stuff gets in the way. That's what sometimes it looks like resistance or being stuck or being stubborn. Other times it looks like fear or doubt, insecurity, uncertainty. Uncertainty is a big one, you guys. Haven't we learned so much about uncertainty? Oh, too much, you guys. We're like doctoral degrees on uncertainty, aren't we? Like we have earned a doctorate. Woo! Something I could have done with that. I don't know about you. Okay, so focus on the decision or the topic that you're really kind of wrestling with. And we're going to find out the goal or intention, the motivation of it, the real, where if we get clarity on this, we can tap into this. And then from there, hopefully we can see things differently, or things will clear up and it'll get a little more obvious to us about direction. And sometimes it's to not take action at all yet. Maybe it's a timing thing. So let's see. Clarity on our, oops, that literally just fell out. Clarity on our intention or goal. Oh, this is so sweet. Oh, you guys, there's two different layers here. There's the color, the imagery, the symbolism, the image of it, right? In the image, there's color, there's symbolism, metaphor, all that. And then with these cards, there's also words. So there's two layers here right away that you're going to be able to take in. So let's do that. This energy reminds me of Lady Kuan Yin. So Kuan Yin is an energy that feels very much like Mother Mary. energy, very compassionate, gentle, kind, very nurturing and supportive. So the crux of this, like the underlying baseline of this decision or the situation, is this desire or motivation or inspired. It's inspired by compassion. And to me, this is self-compassion. When I see Lady Kuan Yin, I know she's saying, don't take things so seriously, because there's enough seriousness in the world and in life that this issue, the circumstance, this decision is really about you. It's about you. And treating yourself the way you treat other people with all this pink energy is compassion. It's so much compassion, self-love, self-nurturing, very gentle, kindness. You're being so hard on yourself. This is why the being hard on yourself piece is what makes you feel kind of crazy, disjointed, pulled in different directions. It's not like you actually are being pulled in different directions. You are allowing yourself to feel that. You can have multiple demands or requests upon you. They all come into the information center of you, your hub, which is your heart space right here. And then how you choose to categorize, itemize, or respond to those, that's on you. And so you don't have to respond or react to everything that comes in, every request or demand that is made officially or unofficially by your feeling. Like you're scanning the energy of the environment and trying to decide what's most likely to occur. Now, maybe it's just my problem as a psychic. Like, I'm trying to feel into different outcomes or different potentials, and knowing that there can be, wrenches thrown into plans, and you do something expecting one thing, but being afraid that it's going to turn out another way. And there's just all this, and not adversity, but these very different polarities of what it could be really great or could really suck. Well, so could everything, So it's like, stop being so focused on what could go wrong. Focus more on the intent or goal, which is to be kind to yourself, to love yourself, to support yourself, because you deserve it. This is about value and trusting yourself. Other people are going to treat you the way you treat yourself, okay? Imagine that. Oh my gosh, no wonder why people treat you kind of crappy sometimes, because you're treating yourself kind of crappy. And I can raise my hand to that, because that happens to me too. For sure. The fact that she has yellow on speaks to the solar plexus or the spirit chakra, which says intuitively, If you look at her headband here, she's got a little headband on. That's the crown chakra energy, and it just happens to be purple, which is the color of the crown chakra, which is the color of these cards, which is divine guidance. And for me, purple is divine feminine. All right. So there's a lot of support for the goal or intention of taking care of yourself, of being kind to yourself. And this whole process is designed to show you the reason why it's so anxious or so much, oh my gosh, I'm making myself crazy, is because there's not a right choice. There's not an external right choice. There's only internal honoring of yourself as you're moving through the process and doing the best you can at each stage or step. Honoring yourself isn't based on the outcome, it's based on the process and how you're managing the process, and the energy you put into your decision or that's around during the time of your decision is going to impact or influence the outcome. So think about that. Clear, clear, clear. Release, release, release. Okay, nice breath in. Full exhale out. And the chakras here, the heart chakra to me often will be pink. Sometimes it's green, but to me it's like very often very, very pink. And the solar plexus is yellow, so your heart and your soul are working together really, really for you. They're like helping you. They're like, come on, you can do this. It's not that hard. Don't make it hard. Don't let your brain scare the crap out of you, because you've already been through a lot this year. Let's just refocus and remember who you are inside. The green energy is healing energy, also could be heart chakra energy. There's a little bit of a magical kind of air element. I can't quite see what that is. Almost like a little genie in a bottle, baby. Do you see that little genie energy in her hand there? Look at that little air element coming at you. Air helps with change, helps with shift, helps with clearing, helps with release. Another breath in. Exhale out. Can we just give up the stress about the stuff? Can we give up the stress around the situation or circumstance? Just let everybody take on their own stuff, okay? Let the clouds part, and let's focus on the point of this whole question or this whole decision, okay? What's the point here? And that energy literally looks like the genie, like from Aladdin, which for me is Disney stuff, which is like make your 3 wishes. Like, think about how much the universe knows you more than you know yourself, and how it could bring to you so much more than you would ever even imagine that you could have as experience. So to really, really begin to allow yourself to let yourself be supported energetically and spiritually, as much as it is hard. I know it's hard for you to get support as an empath in friendships and family and all that, because you feel like you don't want to be a burden to people, even though you might need some help with your emotional status, or you're feeling overwhelmed, or you're just tired, or your body, or maybe you're dealing with some illnesses and you know other people don't want to hear it, or you presume that that's the case, which it may or may not be. Let's be honest. You're just jumping to the conclusion that your stuff doesn't matter. And I know, because I do the same thing. Maybe this is about us actually having a new awareness about how much we actually matter as an individual to ourselves in our own lives, like how much impact I have on my life right here, right now. Not in a bad way, like not in a way of like more pressure, great, Bridgette, now if I make this decision, it's the wrong one, then I'm bad and everything's bad. And so for me, I have this thing about, I have some life patterning stuff that comes up for me about like failure, fear of failure, and not wanting to disappoint other people or let them down, and wanting people to feel happy and be comfortable. And comfort is a really big issue for me, because that's like something I strive for, which is like not really an adequate depiction of what is in alignment with my desires, because I need some risk taking too with that, and some trust in the universe helping to support me, and knowing that I can then just show up and the universe will show up for me. And that's advice for you too, okay? Grace and gratitude. Through gratitude, joy expands. So this isn't because, now, sometimes the tricky part about gratitude, there's a lot of discussion about gratitude, and gratitude can really help shift your mindset. It can work with your brain. It can bring energy into your brain that is nurturing and supportive and loving. So gratitude's for the brain, for sure. Gratitude is not a punishment because you haven't been paying attention. Gratitude isn't, oh, I haven't been present enough, so I'm a bad person. I'm not a good spirit. I'm being a bad intuitive person. I'm not being a very good empath because I'm just not focused on the present enough. I don't have enough gratitude. Oh, something's wrong with me. No, gratitude is not intended as a punishment. Gratitude is intended as this beautiful way for your brain to understand energy and to get some positive vibes, like from your heart to your brain, from your solar plexus to your brain, your spirit and your mind working together. Imagine that. That's what gratitude's about, but it's kind of been oversimplified and over-marketed. It's really been over-marketed, let's be honest. Gratitude journals, I think, are great and very handy, gratitude lists, but again, it's working with your mind and energy and spirit. It's a whole holistic approach, a whole team approach, okay? So grace and gratitude. I love that the card has come up a couple of times for me actually recently. And so grace to me feels like the flow of energy when I'm in a place where I feel worthy myself. And I feel worthy because I'm giving myself empathy. I'm being compassionate toward myself. I'm being gentler with myself. I'm not being harsh or pushy or bossy with myself. I'm being realistic and loving at the same time, which is tricky, and that's what grace is to me. That's what grace is. I wouldn't say that I'm a person that has a lot of grace, to be honest. Like, I feel like there's a lot of other people that you could look up to have a lot of grace. Because I don't know, I don't know. I don't align with it very much myself. Like, I don't feel like I have that trait, but I feel like it's beautiful. I feel like it's a flow state of energy, and people that can kind of roll with it and go with the flow. I mean, I have a lot of respect for people like that. I don't feel that way myself. I feel very, much more kind of volatile in my flow state, especially right now, these days, I think. A lot of judgment, I think. So through gratitude, joy expands. We deserve joy. It doesn't feel like it, does it? If I'm being honest. So is this decision going to expand me, or is it going to keep me small? That's a good question. Ask yourself that about the circumstance or decision that you're thinking about. Is it going to expand me? Do I feel like, oh yeah, that's going to be awesome. If I picture myself after making this decision, do I feel lighter and more free? Do I feel like kind of excited? Am I a little nervous? But that's okay. I'm a little bit scared. That's okay. It's not about knowing all the details or having all the answers. That's the big thing. It's really about feeling into the sensory expectations of the experience and understanding that it's best if we can expand or allow expectations to not be so strict or rigid, and the dreams and desires that we have not to be connected directly to an outcome, which is contrary to how we've been taught to formulate goals, make a plan, and A plus B equals C. That's not how it really works when you're creative, artistic, and co-creating life in a way of manifesting. You gotta go beyond those ABCs, that A plus B equals C scenario, and not just about formulas, but into rhythms and natural cycles and understanding energy and working with all the resources you have available, which there's a ton of spiritual energy and information that's accessible to you, like with the universe supporting you, that can make things so much better for us all. So does this energy expand me or does it contract me? Oftentimes I'll feel it in my heart. Sometimes I'll feel pressure like on my neck and shoulder blades, like I feel scrunched up and I feel like everything's like pulled in. That's contraction. That's like stress and I'm afraid, and that's like resistance. Just keeping things the same. Remember how I told you my thing is comfort? Yeah, I'd rather just be here and not like venture out, Expansion doesn't hurt, okay, initially, right? The energy is not intended to be like a punishment to you, like take a big breath and then, it's supposed to just be natural, okay? You guys, we've made it complicated and difficult. It's not supposed to be this big hard thing. So is this decision or choice going to expand you? Find the place where there's room to expand, and that's where you go, okay? Wow, that was deep. That's deep, man, in one card. Let's get one more card to support this energy. Besides our Lady Kuan Yin. You guys can look her up, by the way. She's a spiritual guide, spiritual guide. We're going to use another deck by Denise, Linn. We're going to use the Sacred Destiny. This is a real grounded deck. Really like this. You guys have seen this one before. Blue. You know how much I love blue. Here's what this deck looks like. We've got the water element. We've got the sun, the solar energy, so that divine masculine, divine feminine. And let's get some, insight. What do we need to help us expand, to create some room here, to give us some feeling of freedom, choice that doesn't feel stressful? What can you, higher self, aligned with my spiritual support team, with your spiritual support team and healing helpers, what can you give us support-wise for our ability to be able to just expand instead of feeling tense trying to make this decision or choice, but give us some room? What can we do? What kind of advice, what kind of energy can we tap into to help us expand, to allow for just the greatest of outcome and most positive, helpful, and hopeful experience? These are really there's a lot of these. These feel really important right now. They feel very totem animal related, which is practical connection to earth. Animals are such great spirit guides. And this shows like landscapes and stuff, and only has one word on these cards, so they're pretty simple, but, this one's starting to come out, I think. Okay, I actually have two here. I'm gonna show them both to you. All right, so the first one is this one, which is community. Look at the rainbow. Remember how I said expand the energy? I can't think of a better way to expand energy than think of a rainbow and all the different variations of color. They're all beautiful, aren't they? Lots of different choices and outcomes, lots of different avenues. The energy of the butterfly signifies change or transformation. So yeah, things are going to change, but guess what? They're always changing anyway. Wouldn't you like to be a little more part of that actively? Acknowledging that this could be just a cycle you're in, a pattern that you're in, and it makes sense because externally it's scary to have change right now while there's so much. It seems like too much to make change for yourself while there's so much change happening outside of you and with all the people that you love, etc., right? Like change upon change upon change seems like chaos. Well, we're already kind of in this tumultuous, turbulent, empathic energy, chaotic feeling. This brings hope. Hope. That's part of the information here. Hope. Hope will help you to expand. So let's breathe in. Connect to all the colors in the chakras. And exhale out. Look up the totem animal meaning of butterfly. It might have a symbolic meaning for you. It could be an afterlife loved one or friend or guest that you would connect to and symbolize with the butterfly. The word here is community, which to me symbolizes support for you. All right, that was lovely. That's like the best card ever. Look at these two together. I mean, oh, you guys, oh, this is lovely. Oh, good. I'm glad I grabbed this deck. And now here's the second one. Oh, this is like a direct to Bridgette. This just in. Release will help us to expand. Release, let go of the old dead leaves. Because there's new stuff forming, isn't there? Right now we're here in the springtime where I live in the United States. And we're just tipping into springtime. And this card actually looks more a little bit representative with all the different leaves and the colors, like the fall cycle of shedding and clearing. However, there are trees in our backyard that still have old leaves stuck to them, old dry leaves that have been hanging on all winter, which some of us feel like we've been hanging on all winter. And now the weather's starting to get nicer, and here we are in the springtime with abundance and opportunity, which can feel kind of stressful. You guys, with choices, let's be honest, with choices and decisions and opportunities, there is a level of stress that comes up and compounds for those of us who are empathic. And empath means you feel energy in your heart, you feel the emotions of others, you feel the energy around situations, circumstances, places, as well as people. And so that can be really, that compounded energy can be really a lot. It can add to your own little tiny square of stress and expand it. So there's a lot, okay? So hanging on. It's time to just relax. The release energy isn't this forced release. It's just like, okay, you're safe. It's safe for you to let go of the old stuff. You don't have to be on high alert all the time. You know what you're doing now. You have a new pattern of reality. Work with it. And if it gets to change, that's normal. Every day the sun comes up, whether you see it or not. Every evening it goes to bed. The moon comes out, the stars come out, the night sky is available, whether you see it or not. It's a pattern. There are things that we can come to rely upon, and that can create comfort in routines. However, there are a lot of things right now left within us that we have an opportunity to get rid of. That's how it feels to me. We have an opportunity to get rid of some things that we've been hanging on to over this long time. And that rich red color, that is the root chakra. And it's interesting, so it almost feels like it should be like this, where this is the roots below the surface, all the stuff that we've been thinking about, that's been affecting us, that we've been trying to keep a lid on and keep things in control because we're helping other people, we're doing our jobs, we're making our dinners, we're going to the grocery stores, we make sure everybody has their supplies, whether it be hand sanitizer, masks, etc., whatever it looks like for you guys. It might look totally different. You know, their bottles of water, whatever it is. And this is like us below the surface, making sure everything's connected. You know, these are all the roots. And then up here is the green earth, the beautiful carpet of green that is starting to show in the springtime here because fresh life is coming. And some of these leaves are those who have been stuck around since the fall, since the last time of shifting and clearing and transitioning. And so it's just a different perspective. Isn't that fascinating? And so it's a word release, which happens to be, by the way, my word of the year was release. So that's for me specifically. That's why I said, oh, this is for me. This is awesome, you guys. All right, I'll take a picture of these 3 cards from the Denise Linn's card decks, and I'll highlight them below. I'll put little stars next to them in my listing of recommendations for intuitive resources for you. Card decks are a great resource for you to use. I hope this has helped you maybe get a little more clear on the intention, the motivation, the underlying energy around this decision or choice or circumstance that you're battling with or wrestling with, or thing that keeps just coming back around. It might not be intense for you right now. It might just be kind of annoying, Like, oh, yeah, I know I should do that. Yeah, I know I should do that. Oh, yeah, I know. If you find yourself saying that about an issue or topic, situation, circumstance, life change, etc., maybe this card reading was for you today. I hope so. I hope it's helped you. I look forward to watching it back myself and pretending like I'm just a viewer and taking it in. So, all right, so this is Bridgette. Thank you so much for watching Fairy Grasshopper YouTube channel, where I share intuitive things about my day-to-day life, as I am a psychic and medium, as well as an intuitive life coach, hoping to inspire your spirit, fill you with hope, and encourage you to live your life. This is your life after all, and you got to live it. Just live it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave, okay? Thank you.